Yes, welcome back, boys. We're going to be explaining. I'm going to be explaining a bit of ICC, but first of all, let's go to TradingView so that I can show you guys the whole concept behind ICC and how you can trade it. Okay. My TradingView is a bit slow, but okay. So we have come to this is S&P. Let's first of all go to S&P 500, so I can also show you the market. So go to the field view market. And then I show you guys how you can trade these markets, because ICC is one of the simplest concepts that you can ever employ when you're trading. It comes from Trades by Sai, and as he has been teaching in all his lessons, ICC is all about indication and then a correction and then a continuation. Okay, anyways, so I will go to the 1 hour. So in the 1 hour we see that let me just show you something, guys. So what I will do, I will hide this. Let me first hide this indicator for now, okay? And I'll show you something very crucial. We see that price was making what? Higher highs and higher lows. So underneath this area over here, price was bullish, okay? But what happened was that once price broke underneath that level, we had massive areas. People started to, the sellers kicked into the market. Remember, we had some bit of support from earlier on. So this was the support that came into the market, okay? So this was an area of support over here. We saw some bit of support come into the market and pushed price higher. But after we broke underneath the structure, price started to become bearish, okay? So you see that price was making higher highs and higher lows. If you guys can observe, here we have higher highs and higher lows, lower highs and lower lows, okay? Lower highs, this was the first lower high. Then we had a new lower low over here. Price made a new lower high over here, and then it made a new lower low. So it was this pattern until it reached over here. So this was the previous lower high. Sorry, I confused the two, but I'll be showing you guys. So from this perspective, we know that at this area over here, price is going to become, if price gives us the indication above this area, going to become what? Price is going to become bullish, okay? So what happened? During the first session, we see that the first time price came above this level, okay, we created a new higher high over here. Let me just show you guys. So if I let me just draw a horizontal line so that you guys can observe it more clearly. So that price came above this area for the first time, okay? So we shall go to just draw a curve, okay? So we shall go, this was a previous lower high, okay? But price came up and closed above the level, giving us the first indication that it wanted to do what? It wanted to go bullish above that level. So after we knew that we have a lower high in the market, what happened? You simply go to your indicators. So you go to the visuals, annotation, you go to the geometric shapes. Is it the trend lines? Yeah, to go trend lines. So you shall go draw a horizontal line over this area over here. So this was the nearest level we have higher lows. So anything above this level is good for buys, and we saw that price came above the level for the first time. Now this is where it's very crucial to understand the strategy. You see, with ICC, it's all about indication, correction, and then continuation. So your entry, as I've told you guys, the entry is always gonna be once price comes back the second time. The first time that price came above, we saw that it made that indication. So this was the first indication that price wanted to go higher, wanted to go bullish, okay? So this was the indication. The first indication was here, was made. This was the first indication, okay? If you observe over here, this area over here, price came and made a new higher high in the markets, okay? It broke the previous lower high to make a new higher high. What happened next is that price a level of here, and it came up area where we found price to have made the first indication. Okay, so for the second time, this would have been our entry. Okay, so you can go maybe to your low time frame, maybe the M15. Okay, and also Sai talked a lot about volume in the markets. Okay, so we see that the first time that price came above the level, we just got an indication, probably during a session which wasn't so strong. So I'll put my indicator. Okay, so we see that during the first New York session, price gave us the first indication. Okay, and in most of you guys, the way you trade is that usually trade panic. You panic sell or panic buy. But so this was the Asian. Let me just remove the Asian. I'll just put the Asian, sorry, the London and the New York, those two. Okay, so what did we see? We saw that the first time during the London session, as ICC, I'll reveal something very crucial. Okay, in ICC, London session usually gives us the indication. I'll repeat that. In ICC, if you're trading gold, SP 500, London session usually gives us the indication. And then during the New York session, we shall have the continuation. It's not always a must, but I'm just showing you that during the London, you should always be looking out for areas where price is going to become bullish or bearish. Okay, we are looking for areas where we shall have continuations, as simple as that, during the London session. Then the New York is usually a continuation. Okay, the New York is usually a continuation. So let me just remove I'll just remove the London so that I shall remain with only the New York. Okay, so we see that in the New York session over here, what did price do? The New York, let me just I'll just make it yellow a bit. Okay, so you see that whenever price went, let me just put both of them because now it's a bit confusing. Okay, so we see that the first time that price came above, London gave us the indication, and then in the New York we had some volume coming to the market during the overlap, and then afterwards this would have been an area for you to take your entries. Okay, as simple as that. You would have taken your entries, as I've told you guys. Let me just remove the sessions again. So for the second time that price came above this level, that's when you would have taken your entries. You would have gone for a long position. Okay, stop loss would have been the first stop loss. Sai always emphasize that you maximize your trades. How do you maximize your trades? You put your stop loss underneath the previous level of support on the H1, and then you target at least a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3. Okay, but for him he says that a 1 to 3, maybe up to this area of support above, is usually better. So this is like a 1 to 7. Okay, 1 to 7 is to was it 1 to 7 really? 1.7, yeah. But he emphasized that after price goes above your level, all you have to do is that you have to go to the low time frames like the M15 so that you can look for even more optimized entries. Okay, so for him, he would go to the M15 and then he would look for even a more optimized entry. By optimized, I mean that you reduce your risk. For instance, you see that the price is forming higher highs in the markets, so you have a level of support over there, so you would have reduced your risk exposure. And since you are buying for the second time that price comes above the level, you shall put a stop loss underneath there. Okay, so this is our stop loss, and then the TP is gonna be at the next area where you have sellers. So we see that for for information, price is likely to reach this level over here. So this level above there, price is likely to reach that area of that area of support, of resistance in the market. So given that information, price is likely now to start pushing, but we don't know yet where it will push. But as I've told you guys, you have to minimize risk when you're trading ICC. You have to minimize risk. You want to observe price in real time as it moves, and you also want to take note of what could actually be holding price back from its motion. Okay, so by trades by side, he talked about having a stop loss underneath the previous level of support, and then you just hold your trades along the way, and if you see any sign of bearish movement, you just close. Okay, you close out your positions. But if you trust your trade, for instance, sometimes price can come. Let me just show you just an example here. Okay, so price can do something like this. It can let's say start from here. So it starts from here, pushes all the way up, maybe let's say to this area over here. This is another area of resistance, and after it reaches that level, it falls down. Okay, now the issue that most people have is that when price starts to sell, they become anxious, but instead it could just be an indication that price wants to go high. So Sai talked about something very crucial. He said that you have to mark out your areas of support and resistance. Okay, areas where there are sellers and buyers in the market, and on top of that, you have to again mark up those areas. Go to your trend lines here, so you mark them up by let me just yeah, I want the horizontal array. So this is an area of resistance in the market, so you want to see price come and break above this area of resistance, so that you are able to identify that above this level price is going to start now with a bullish move. Okay, so once we have, for instance, this is an indication in the price, but if price comes above this area, then we have a strong confluence that price is likely now, after breaking that high, is grabbing liquidity and then continuing the bullish momentum. As simple as that. But if it doesn't break, for instance, if price comes to this area over here and then just stops halfway and then starts to sell off, then we can simply just close out. At least if we entered like two positions, we first close out the first position, because price is actually now starting to do what? To weaken. And for instance, for price to move at all, it has to break structure. It has to one side of the market has to, someone has to be in control of the market in order for price to move. Because if everyone is in control of the market, if the buyers and sellers are in the control of the market, there won't be any price. Okay, so that means that there has to be a substantial level of sellers and buyers orders in the market for price to move. Anyways, that's it for ICC. I've told you guys that anything above this level is good for buys for ICC, and then a stop loss is underneath that previous level of support, and then we shall always be aiming for the area where we saw the maximum maximum resistance. But yeah, that's it, guys. I was just explaining just a bit on S&P 500, but let's go to something very crucial. I'll go to let me first go to Bitcoin a bit, so that you guys can also understand a bit about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been actually, if I go to my other account, Bitcoin has been a bit ranging. I won't say ranging as per se, but it has been a bit consolidating a bit. Let me just go to this other account. Let's first leave trading view for a bit, and we go to this other account so that I can show you guys what I mean. Okay, so let's first, not this account, I mean this funded account. Sorry for that. Okay, so basically all I'm looking for in Bitcoin, if you go to Bitcoin chart over here, realize that price has been extremely consolidative. Okay, it has been extremely consolidative. So I'll go to the H4 so that I can show you guys what I mean. You see that price over and is bouncing between these two great regions. We're bouncing between this area of support and this maximum area of resistance. So that means that anything in between these levels is just simply consolidation. As simple as that. There's nothing much for you to even be looking out for. We know that the only way that price can show us a direction change is by continually making higher highs in the market. So this was a higher low in the market, and then price also formed another higher low in the market. So as long as this structure is being respected, then Bitcoin is actually going to be extremely bullish for the next coming week. But if that's disrespected, as we have seen in most of the cases, if Bitcoin disrespects the structure, then I don't think that we shall have anything to hold on to in the next coming phases. But Bitcoin it's a bit hectic right now. I don't see much. Maybe let me go to TradingView so that I can see if there is anything, but I haven't seen anything much. Although also TradingView takes long to load, and I don't really want to waste your time, guys. Anyways, let's go to USD/JPY. Remember today I told you that I'm going to analyze the three pairs: USD/JPY, Bitcoin, and then S&P 500. I've already analyzed S&P 500 and Bitcoin. As I've told you guys, Bitcoin is a bit hectic. I won't trade it. And this account, we have made so far 1K on it. But it's only usually the commission. For last 3 months, how long is this? For last week, we made 1K. But of course, we had some losing trades in the end. Here I'd made over 600, but then we lost some trades along the way. But we shall recover everything. That's not the issue. The issue right now that I'm looking forward to is just to explain for you guys how to trade most of these charts. Okay, so for USD/JPY, if you observe it from the higher time frame, the H4, realize that price for the past few days, you don't even have to go so back in time. ICC is you don't have to go so much back in time. Okay, you have to just focus on what you are seeing. So the first area that we of support is going to be there, because that's where we saw massive volume coming to the market. And after, by massive volume, I mean that price came and broke this area of this structure over here, giving us the first indication. So we had a lower low over here. Price came and broke through it. Okay, so for the first time, if you guys can observe, price came and broke above this area of resistance the first time. Okay, what happened the next time? Price came underneath this level. Okay, and then afterwards we had another push, and price came above this level. Now this whole movement, you would have caught it if you are trading ICC and you know what you're doing. This whole movement, you would have caught it, and yeah, you could have always be targeting for this area over here. This could have been your target, because this was an area of great resistance in the markets. Therefore, price has to give us an indication by breaking this level, so that we can know that above this level, price is going to start to become what? Bullish in the near future. But I usually use the H1 because that's where we find most of these trades. So USD/JPY, as you can see, price has been extremely bullish. So I'll go back to my charts, TradingView. Sorry, my network is a bit slow, but I shall deal with it. Not the end of the world. But as I've been telling you guys, whenever you're trading ICC and you're using a small time frame, always be sure that your entries are on point. Okay, your entries should be on point, otherwise you may end up messing up. So this is S&P 500. I've shown you guys everything, so I think this I can remove every drawing here. I've shown you guys that I'm expecting price to have another massive push to the upside, and that could be in the next coming hours, the next coming weeks. We have only like 1 week left for December, so I don't really see much on these pairs. May just be consolidating. Bitcoin is actually now starting to consolidate, so maybe they're preparing for next year. And also in Christmas, people are usually taking profits off the markets, so you may see some bit of impulsive moves in the markets during Christmas season. But just to be sure, I'll show you guys how most of the volumes work. So USD/JPY, that's the pair I'm looking for. Sorry, my network is a bit slow, but we shall always see. Okay, so I'll take the one for forex.com, because the broker always quotes, and therefore we follow the broker quotes. I trust forex.com. Anyways, so this is for USD/JPY, and as you can see, prices has been extremely bullish. I turn on my indicator and I see that but my indicator is a bit, I don't know if it's a bit spoiled, because I need to see the sessions. London is there, New York is there, but I don't really get it because I usually love the London the most. It's okay, let's see. Okay, so see that this whole move, look at that move, guys. That whole move to the upside, what you would have caught it, but let's go to the H1 so that you guys can see this even more clearly. So from the H1 perspective, remember this is a USD JPY, so I'll just show you guys how to trade it. Okay, so let me just start from the beginning. So I'll start from the areas where I saw some bit of resistance, then I'll be explaining to you guys what I see. So if you observe from the left over here, this area was an area where you had massive selling. Okay, so anything above this level is good for buys. Okay, the first time the price went above this level, we had an impulsive move to the upside during the New York session. Okay, that would have been the first time we would have taken that buy. During the London, we had price come back. I don't know if you guys observe something very crucial. If you guys are very patient with how you trade, you can actually catch these moves. But the issue that most of you have is that you're impatient with the trades and they end up falling on you. So if you observe, without even going further, if you observe, price had already shown you the first indication that above this level is willing to buy. That would have been the first indication. So we had this massive push to the upside, then price came for the corrective move. Okay, so this was probably during the London session, upward towards the close of the London session, and then during the New York session, what did price do? Price came above the same level. It's just showing you guys that, hey, above this level we are willing to take price higher. There are buyers above this level. So given that information, here would have taken your entry for buys on gold. I'm not saying you have caught the whole move, but I'm saying that just look at how price never even came back down, okay, to disturb you. So basically, this was your whole entry. Okay, so you would have put your buys here. This is where I would have put your buys, and then the TP would have been just above. So I'll go to the other time frames. I'll go to my drawings. I shall go to forecasting and measurement. Then let's calculate the buying position. So anything above this level would have taken your buys. Okay, stop loss underneath, and then you would have scaled up this trade and caught it. And I'm not saying that you would have caught the traders per se, but would have gotten at least some bits of it. Okay, so yeah, that's it for pretty much USD JPY. It has been buying aggressively, but if you guys want even more analysis, you go to the high time frame. You have been let's go to the 6 months, okay, and see where. So we shall turn off the sessions so that we don't have so much noise. So for the past 6 months, we see that price has made a bit of a structure here. So we see then that if you guys observe, okay, if you guys observe anything above this level, remember this was an area of resistance in the market before. So anything above this level, we usually buy up to. You see, the market is so easy to trade. Actually, if you know what you're doing, the price is so easy to trade. So usually buy. Okay, so this would have been your buy, and then TP is where we had the last area of where the buyer stopped whenever they went above that area. Simple as that. So the TP, my TP is gonna be above, and I'm like, okay, since there have been buyers in the market before at that area, then I'm expecting that they will be there in the next coming session, as simple as that. So this will be my buying point. Okay, and then I'll be targeting at least that area above. So I'll be pushing up a bit, and then my stop loss is just underneath this level. If you want to minimize your stop loss, you can go to the time frames, and then you can always minimize your stop loss. But actually, that's all I'm doing right now. My target is gonna be above this area over here, as I've shown you guys. So this is gonna be the target. Okay, this is my target all along. This is my target, bro. This is where I'm targeting, because we have seen that above that area of resistance, price has been able to push all the way up towards that area of support of resistance. Sorry. So, and yeah, we see that price has been extremely bullish on USD/JPY. We had our movements above, but overall we saw that market was extremely bullish. So given that information, USD/JPY is going to buy, but I don't just go to that level. So I strip down to the 1 week. Okay, I strip down to the 1 week, and so that I can show you guys exactly what's happening right here. So in the 1 week, as I've told you, that will be my profit target. Okay, that will be like a 1 to 9. Okay, so yeah, that's it for okay, so that will be my TP, and then I shall be minimizing risk along the way. Simple as that. Yeah, but basically that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to come above that level, and I'll be taking my buys until we reach the next area of resistance in the markets. So yeah, that's basically it for USD/JPY. Yeah, that's basically it, because I've told you guys that about anything above that level is good for buys, and I've shown you guys how to take entries on USD/JPY. So you don't even have to hesitate when you see a setup like this. All you have to do is simply just take the setup, stop loss underneath a bit, and then you're good to go. Simple as that. We have shown that anything above this level is good for buys. So here we are in a what? In a 1 to 3 point. It will be like a 3.81 risk to reward ratio. Okay, 1 to 3.8. Okay, and if you make like if you're risking $1, let's say risking $100 to make $180 per trade, in less than, if you take like 3 entries and only 2 of them work out, let's say only 1 works out, so 300, and then 2 fail, that you will still be in profit, because the profit target is always higher. As simple as that. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. I guess I won't bore you with the details on how to trade from scratch. I'll be making more videos like this so that I can show you guys clearly how to trade. But I urge you to backtest if you have a backtesting software, maybe like on TradingView. TradingView also has backtesting capabilities. So if you have that chance to analyze your trades on TradingView, that's also good. That's not too bad. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. But just so you know, you can also have taken your entry from this area over here. Okay, so this could have been also a stop loss, because that was an area of support in the markets previously. So anything underneath that level, you wouldn't want to hold your trades to anything underneath that level. Okay, and basically that's how we could have taken this entry. I don't want to undergo
I don't want you guys to overcomplicate your stuff. I want to keep it as simple as possible so that you guys can understand how market structure works, so that you guys don't fall victim to buying courses from people who don't know how to trade and who make you lose money in the long run, as they make money from selling you courses. Okay, Trades by Sai is my mentor, and not just a mentor, but I follow his trades, and I see that this guy is really making huge amounts of money from trading, and he's not selling anything. So anyways, um that's how US dollar is for now. I've shown you guys how you can take these entries and how you can potentially look for maximizing your profits by having a breakout and then a continuation after the corrective move. Okay, as simple as that. And yeah, for people who want to trade USDJPY during next week, I can give you a level so that you guys can observe it. And I'll be sending most of the signals in my WhatsApp group, so people, you should try your level best to join my group. Okay, we see that anything above this level is good for anything above that level is good for buys, because that was an area of resistance in the markets before. So once price breaks above that level, that would be the first indication, and then would wait for that pullback, and then would have stuck in more entries. Simple as that. And yeah, I guess guys, that's it for now. I don't really have much to say concerning my entries, but as you guys have seen, my entries are good, and I will be sending most of these signals in my Telegram, and but most especially the WhatsApp group, because that's where I'm most active. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and see you guys soon.